lights down, watch them go down. No, I'm never gonna slow down. Turn the lights down, watch them go down. No, I'm never gonna slow down. Turn the lights down, watch them go down. No, I'm never gonna slow down. Turn the lights down, watch them go down. No, I'm never gonna slow down.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Yeah, you know that. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it does not. It does not matter who the host is. It never has, never will, and it will always be about you. Yes, this will always be about you, and I mean that in a good way, because, you know, that could get kind of weird quick, and when somebody says that, you know, this is all about you. What? Okay, let's calm it down. Anyways, we are, what day is it? I mean, let me get into this real quick. Today is Wednesday, yes, June the 21st of 2023, day 172nd of the year, and only 193 days left to go. We are broadcasting live, yes, live, from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Of course, we are hanging out over there doing the stuff with them because that's what we do around here. All kinds of intrigo, ego stuff. You know, I have to tell you, yesterday I was hanging out on LinkedIn, and man, I have not realized until, I guess, as of late, on how many character-driven people there are out there in regards of the world of safety. On how, you know, they feel like it's the talk thing about being involved in talking with people in regards of how they think that they need to interact and act in regards in front of the camera. It was really weird. I was watching some videos and I was like, this is become the world of the strange. I guess I'm kind of just sort of normalize the whole conversation thing of just having a normal conversation opposed to being the Big Bang Theory in regards of everything that's going on inside of our world. You know, that gets kind of strange. Let's just have a normal conversation today in regards of what's going on there. I mean, I guess people get nervous and stuff, but man, you know, that's why we talk about the things that we do around here. If you hung out on Safety FM Plus this month, you'll realize that we're talking about stage fright in regards of our ebook for the month. So that way you can interact with some of that stuff. Anyways, let's talk about some things because, you know, it's important for us to talk about, number one, that it is Wednesday. And it is Whip 'em Out Wednesday. So we want to make sure that we're live here because it's important for Whip 'em Out Wednesday to be live. So if you want to interact with the show, simple process on doing so, callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Maybe we should just call it WOW. You know, we'll call it WOW for today. It's WOW for June the 21st. Yes, WOW. So there you go. You got that going on. What else? What else is pondering for today? Well, you have that. The next thing that's going on is that we're going to have some professional broadcasters that are going to come in today. They're going to talk about what's going on inside of the world of safety and the news and, you know, do all that kind of fun stuff. So don't worry about that. We're going to make sure that we take care of you throughout the day today because that's going to be important. Outside of that, we'll do all the stuff that we normally do as we get to interact with you. Also, just to be on the safe side, if you do go to the socials and hang out with us, we are kind of always delayed in regards of responding to those. So most of the times we don't see them until post-show. I apologize. That's mostly my fault. But that's what happens there. So if you want to hang, here is the place to be. If you want to interact, callinradio.com. And then that's where everything's going on. If you go to our website, safetyfm.com, yes, safetyfm.com. There's also safety.fm, or there's also safety.fm if you want to do that. But if you want to hang out there, you can take a look to everything that's going on inside of our world. So there you go. It's the hangout modes. It's the things that we do. It's the talking. It's the interaction. All that kind of fun stuff. So don't worry there about what is going on. Okay? Cool. So cool beans is what we got there. Let's talk real quick about what the hell was trending in the overnight, because I always think that stuff's going to be important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking a look around at what was trending in the overnight. Another disaster averted for an airline passenger and the youngest of American adults. Oh, excuse me. Can't figure out how to plan for the future. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Also, Adele gave her fans a huge dose of TMI in a recent show, so just in case. Shannon Sharp won't be sidelined on broadcast TV for too long. We'll talk about that and some casting call stuff. And then we'll get into some of the stuff that is going on inside of our world. We might even talk about some sex stuff today, yeah. I'll try to give the explainer on what the hell that means, but we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the middle of the show. So there you go. Some things going on inside of the world as we are talking. Yeah, we'll blend all that stuff in together. So, yep, everything that's going on. So with that being said, why don't we do this? Why don't we bring in the professional broadcasters, let them do their gig, and let them tell us about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news? Because, who else is there to let us know what the hell is going on? I don't know.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio. I'm Michael Kastner. The Coast Guard says underwater noise has been detected in the search for a submarine that disappeared while exploring the wreck of the Titanic. In a tweet last night, the Coast Guard said a Canadian rescue aircraft had detected noises in the search area. Water rescue expert Butch Hendricks said the rescue effort is no easy task because the sub appears to have no technology to signal its location.
There's no emergency deployed beacons that can tell you where it is. There's no beacon or emergency transmitter on it itself that can send out a series of signals.
The New York Times reports it obtained the letter from 2018 that warned OceanGate its experimental approach with its vessel could lead to catastrophic outcomes. The submersible used to explore the Titanic has been missing with 5 people on board since Sunday. Ships and rescue teams from the U.S. and Canada are searching an area about 900 miles to the east of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's likely the vessel will run out of oxygen soon after starting off with about a 96-hour window. Hunter Biden will plead guilty to tax charges and a gun charge in a plea deal with the feds. More from Mark Mayfield.
According to the agreement, the president's son will plead guilty to a pair of misdemeanor tax charges involving about $1 million in unpaid taxes several years ago. Federal prosecutors in Delaware will drop the felony charge against Hunter Biden for possessing a firearm while being a user of illegal drugs if he completes 2 years of probation. It's not immediately clear when Hunter Biden might appear in court to enter his guilty plea. I'm Mark Mayfield.
The top Republican investigating President Biden's son says he got off easy after pleading guilty to tax misdemeanors. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer called it a sweetheart deal and claimed Hunter Biden was getting away with a slap on the wrist. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Julia Chapman. Banging sounds have been detected in the search for the missing submersible, which was exploring the wreckage of the Titanic. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lead World Yoga Day celebrations as he begins his state visit to the US. And dignitaries and business figures are discussing how to facilitate the reconstruction of Ukraine at a conference in London.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
The governor of Pennsylvania says traffic will begin flowing along Interstate 95 again this weekend.
Everyone has worked around the clock to get this done, and we have completed each phase of this project safely and way ahead of schedule.
A portion of the busy highway has been closed since a bridge collapsed last week due to a tanker truck fire. While giving an update on repairs Tuesday, Governor Josh Shapiro said paving could begin today. The temporary roadway with 6 lanes open to traffic will be used until a permanent fix is completed. Closure has had an impact on commuters along with shipping and trucking. A bipartisan group of lawmakers is pushing for a federal commission to develop regulations for artificial intelligence technology. Lisa Taylor with more.
A bill introduced by Representatives Ted Lieu of California and Kim Buck of Colorado would require Congress and the White House to appoint 20 people to the commission to come up with a strategy to regulate AI. The efforts from Congress come as the Biden administration is also considering AI risks following the rapid development of generative AI technology. Lieu said while AI is doing amazing things for society, it can also cause significant harm if left unchecked and unregulated.
I don't mind the sun sometimes.
The drummer for the band Butthole Surfers has died. Teresa Taylor, also known as Teresa Nervosa, was a drummer for the Texas punk band Off and On from 1983 to 2009. Taylor was also an occasional actress and is remembered for her role in Richard Linklater's 1990 film Slacker. Her former bandmates announced on their Instagram page that Teresa Taylor passed away peacefully over the weekend after a long battle with lung disease. She was 60 years old. And Aerosmith is unveiling a new greatest hits collection. The Super Deluxe Edition sports a whopping 44-song track list that chronologically traverses the band's 50-plus year career. The collectible piece is due for release August 18th, just ahead of the band's farewell tour. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's start pitfalling away. Yes, let's do that instead. Okay, here we go. I said 16, and it was 17 right as I said it. So 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip-Em-Out Wednesday. Thanks for the pictures, by the way. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on as we are talking, so let's get our way into the shit list right away, because it feels like it's something important to talk about. So remember when just a couple of weeks ago, airline passenger opened the cabin door mid-flight as the plane was descending to the runway? Do you remember this? This was something that was going on. Well, the flight crew aboard the Jeju airline flight from the Philippines to South Korea managed to prevent the same thing from happening again on Monday. The 19-year-old culprit reportedly made a dash to the door after behaving strangely during the flight, though no word yet on what the strange behavior entailed. That's when the crew swung into action, as CNN described it. One person restrained him with a lasso rope, with the other one with zip ties to keep him subdued until the plane landed. I'll tell you, if you didn't knock the shit out of that guy, there should probably be some issues right there. A couple chokeholds or different things. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too severe, but let's be realistic. Why in the hell are you trying to open a door mid-flight still? I just don't understand when people try to do some very strange things. Like, let's just get to our destination and then you do whatever stupidity you want to do from there, as long as it does not involve hurting other people. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. Let's keep it with that.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So take a listen to this. A study commissioned by the investment company Charles Schwab. Yeah, if you don't know who Charles Schwab is, you probably should look that up. Shows that Gen Z and millennials aren't putting time and effort into long-term financial planning because it's time-consuming and complicated. Worth noting, that does sound about right. When it comes to reasons why they just float through life without telling their money what to do, 29% of the youngest American adults say they didn't have enough time. 9% of boomers said the same. About 25% said they have no financial plan at all, and about 66% say that they don't have a written formal plan. But wait, a majority of boomers say that they don't have formal plan either because they just don't have enough money to merit one. Only 38% of Gen Z and millennials said the same stuff. This is according to Business Insiders. Now, I'm going to tell you this. This is just, of course, an opinion question because I am sure as shit not a CPA and don't hang out with any. But I will tell you that financial planning for the future, if you can do so, is super important. You know, just kind of think about the most basic concept of concepts. Live on less than what you make. I know, so depending on what industry you're in and what you do, it's extremely difficult to do. I get it. But, you know, when you start taking a look at credit cards, you have to understand that some of those interest rates are so outrageous, and there's no return on investment that I know that's 30%. I mean, I don't get it. Just my own opinion. Yeah, very opinionated show around here. What the hell's going on? Anyways, the remains of the velociraptor stolen from the Museum of South Dakota have been recovered by authorities. I mean, how the hell do you recover those? Last Friday, a security officer at the facility spotted 3 people trying to make a getaway with the artifact in the middle of the night and reported it to the police. Quick work, of course. Officials say that they just followed security camera footage to track down a nearby apartment. And then when they opened the door, there it was. No, seriously, there it was. The suspects are barely adults. One is 19, one is 18, and one is a juvenile. Worth noting, miraculously, nothing was damaged. This is according to Associated Press. Now, what the hell are you going to do with a, with a velociraptor inside of your apartment? In your apartment, it's not a lot of stuff that you can do with it as you are doing it. But just saying, I don't get it, but everybody has to do their own thing. I mean, that portion I do understand. Anyways, take a listen to this. The city of Rome has opened the Largo Argentina area after a lengthy restoration, which, according to a tradition, is a spot where Julius Caesar was murdered back in 2067 years ago. After the building project, visitors will be able to approach the spot from the ground level instead of peering down from the distance. It will cost you €5 to see it up close. So there you go. First son Hunter Biden will plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of tax evasion as part of the deal with the Department of Justice. He's expected to avoid prosecution for illegal possession of a gun while addicted to illegal drugs as part of a condition imposed by the judge. When asked about the deal, President Joe Biden said simply, "I'm very proud of my son." This is according to the New York Times. So there you go. The judge overseeing former President Donald Trump's classified documents case has set August the 14th to be the trial date. So we will see what happens there, because it will be interesting, because that's how the world turns. No, seriously, the world turns, and I'm not talking about a soap opera, just in case, because that could get confusing right away. Anyways, with that being said, let's take a look around at what John Smalls has to say, because he has the Market Beat Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, June 21st, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets pulled back Tuesday to start a holiday-shortened week on uncertain footings. The move comes at the start of a light week regarding data and earnings, which could be a sign that bulls are not as confident as they may appear. The market is moving higher, but with little cause other than an expectation that the FOMC will soon be done hiking interest rates. The critical factor is that the FOMC is not finished with hiking rates and may cause more bank failures in the coming weeks and months. The S&P 500 is trending higher and may set another new high. The next target for solid resistance is at the all-time high, which may be reached by the start of Q2 earnings reporting. The peak of the reporting season begins in 3 weeks and may provide fuel for the rally. The risk is that the outlook for Q3 and Q4 will deteriorate and sap upside potential from the market. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Oh, that's something else. Okay. So there you go. Thank you, John Smalls, for the information. Here's what I was able to find on my side of the equation. The Dow lost about 245 points to close at 34,053 on Tuesday. The S&P lost about 20 points to close at 4,388. The NASDAQ lost about 72 points to close at 13,667. West Texas Intermediate closed at $70 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $75 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.57 on Tuesday, and Bitcoin continued to surge on Tuesday, up nearly 4%, trading near $27,900. There was more than 3,218 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, and about 188 cancellations. I think that's the lowest cancellations that I've heard in some time. And tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $400 million jackpot, or a $207.1 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the time to do so. I mean, there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are talking. So take a listen to this. Former Daily Show host Trevor Noah has signed a podcast deal with Spotify, as the yet untitled weekly series is expected to feature interviews with high-profile celebs. While some big-name podcasts sign exclusive streaming deals, this one will be published across multiple services. One Spotify exec said that Noah, in a statement, that he's a consummate creator and a unique point of view. It's always on podcast talk format. He's really excited about jumping into the next act of his life and career to build a community and talk about to his fans. This is all coming via Variety. In some sports news real quick, sports commentator Shannon Sharp appears to be looking for the future in the wake of his departure of FS1. The NFL Hall of Famer left the network's Undisputed show after the NBA Finals wrapped. Insiders have suggested the bad blood with him and his co-host Skip Bayless led to the departure. In a Monday tweet, Sharp teased that he won't be away from the cameras too long. I'm enjoying the early morning workouts, late breakfast, and break from wearing a suit every morning. But just for a little while, I'll be back on TV in the mornings very soon. So there you go. Some stuff to think about if you are interested in that, because people seem to care. No, seriously, people seem to care. You know, I don't know how people feel about, you know, that that whole thing about talking about sports post-event. I mean, I guess that's a thing for some, but, you know, it is what it is. There you go. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. An 8-year-old Denver Nugget fan is getting a signed Jamal Murray jersey replaced after his was stolen during the Nuggets victory parade last week. Alex Herrera got the surprise of his lifetime and met Nugget star in person.
Here, Alex, this is for you, man. That's your hat. That's your little jersey. Sorry I missed you in the parade.
Thank you.
No problem. Anytime.
No problem, anytime. Well, what a deal of a lifetime there. Murray was at the team's Dick's Sporting Goods that made the arrangement for Alex to meet NBA champion and planned autograph sign in the Lone Tree. A video posted to TikTok shows that he's taking off the jersey and throwing it at Jamal Murray for an autograph. Murray signs the jersey and tries to toss it back, only to have it snagged from someone else in the crowd. The video has garnered thousands of likes and comments on the platform since it was posted. It also led to a man from Golden to offer the 8-year-old a signed replacement jersey. The boy's mother said that she's been touched by the positivity that people have shown to her son. Alex's mom, Mary Cornell, says the trouble the family went through was worth it, and getting to meet Jamal Murray.
Just seeing their faces, like the minute he walked out of the back, his eyes just lit up, and that meant everything. Like everything was completely worth it. The wait, the hangout, the whole 3 hours, 4 hours that we were here, priceless.
Okay, so there you go. Some priceless activity for, you know, not getting the jersey back originally, and then now everything going down. Oh, what a touching thing to talk about, isn't it?
Duh.
Anyway, so let's continue. Let's go through this. One person is in custody after 8 people were hurt in a hit-and-run crash in Chicago, Illinois. Perry Williams has more information.
This eyewitness gave his account of the shocking incident.
The man ended up going up on the sidewalk and ended up hitting 4 people. I seen 4 people going up in the air. It could have been my mom and dad.
Police say the vehicle didn't stop but crashed onto Dan Ryan near 46th Street. The victims were hospitalized, and 4 men in the vehicle were also sent to the hospital where they were arrested. The incident happened prior to the game between the White Sox and Texas Rangers. I'm Perry Williams.
Thank you, Perry Williams, for the information right there as we are talking. Take a listen to this real quick. Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis is slamming San Francisco in a new campaign ad.
I've seen so many businesses boarded up. I've seen so much riffraff just running around.
The Florida governor was in the city on Tuesday on a campaign and stopped and posted a video claiming that the one great city had collapsed because of the leftist policies. DeSantis says that in 1-minute video that he has seen people defecating in the streets, using drugs, and adding, if there's wonder where there have been so many people who have moved from San Francisco to Florida. The office of San Francisco Mayor London Breed has not commented. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the city of San Francisco has collapsed because of the leftist policy.
They are doing it wrong here. No wonder why we've had so many people move from San Francisco to Florida over the last few years. We got to stop this madness. We need to restore sanity to this country.
Okay, hold on. We're talking about a city to a country. I mean, that's a change. I don't know. I always think that it's interesting on when, people get so political about things, of things that are going on. But hey, to each their own. Wherever you want to lie in that pie, that's entirely up to you. Anyways, take a listen to this. J.P. Morgan Chase says that the late disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein got more than $300 million in tax incentives from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Michael Kastner reports.
The bank said in a Tuesday night court filing that the U.S. territory's government also waived sex offender monitoring requirements, shielding Epstein as he gave cash and gifts to top officials. J.P. Morgan said that's how Epstein paid off law enforcement agencies such as the Virgin Islands Police Department. The territory where Epstein owned 2 islands has accused J.P. Morgan of facilitating his sex crimes by providing banking services and enabling him to pay his victims. I'm Michael Kastner.
Interesting story definitely coming out of that. We'll see how more stuff comes about. A new study showing that nearly 900 toddlers have accidentally shot someone in the past 8 years. Michael Kastner has more information.
The nonprofit group Everytown for Gun Safety reviewed data from 2015 to 2022 and found at least 895 children ages 5 and under had managed to find a gun and accidentally shoot someone or themselves during that time. The study also found that the highest number of accidental child shootings per day occurred during the month of July. I'm Michael Kastner.
Well, that's not shit that you want to hear when we're this close to July. I mean, what is today? The 21st. So, yeah, things are going to get iffy and iggy as we are talking about it. 2 Muslim members of Congress have planned to boycott the Indian Prime Minister speech to a joint session on Thursday. Michael Kastner has more.
Democratic Representatives Rashida Tlaib of Michigan and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota said on Tuesday they will boycott Modi's speech. Tlaib wrote on Twitter about what she called Modi's long history of human rights abuses. She cited anti-democratic actions targeting Muslims and religious minorities and censoring journalists. Omar said in a tweet that Modi's government has repressed religious minorities, emboldened violent Hindu nationalist groups, and targeted journalists and human rights advocates with impunity. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, thank you, Michael Kastner, for the information right there. And so let's get into it. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so what does that mean for you and me? Well, it means that we get to do that thing that we normally do around this time frame that we call the main story. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, when we get into main story time, some people get excited, some people don't, and that's okay because that's the way how the world turns. And listen, I didn't promise you anything, but I did make a sex reference at the very beginning and said, hey, we might talk about some sex today. And, I saw what was going on inside of my, call-in radio website automatically once I said that. Calm it down, people. It's not exactly how you think. This is a public show. Let's keep it PG. Well, it is a rated R safety show. I mean, let's keep it kind of R-ish. We can't have any nudity on video. We know this. But let's talk about what I wanted to talk about because the world has become very interesting. The world has become very confusing. The world has become things that you wouldn't expect them to become. But man, has things gotten strange. And you go, why in the hell are we talking about sex on a safety show? And that's a good question, I have to admit. But the world becomes stranger and stranger as we are looking. And listen, I have to tell you this because it has recently come up in a subject of conversation, and I was kind of thrown off, if anything, in regards of how do you interact and deal with this. Now, listen, I normally interact with locations that have all kinds of interesting stuff, but people tend to normally go home at night. Okay, so it's not like there is a stayover. It's not like they are staying at the location that they're at, but there are that oddity that occurs from time to time where people are in a work environment where they are required to stay where they're at. So they could be away from what they will deem their home location for a long period of time. And the story kind of goes like this. I unfortunately, I can't give too many specifics, but I will be generic enough to understand and in close to specific to go forward with what's happening. So, had an organization that had 2 workers, a male and a female, that were actually overlooking, and we'll call it a rig because that's the easiest way to talk about it. And they were overlooking a rig, and they became sexually involved. I mean, everybody does their own thing, but they became sexually involved while they were at work, and they stopped monitoring what they were on the rig to be monitoring because they were having a sexual encounter. I don't think I need to tell you the rest of the story because it's going to be kind of plain and simple unless it's going to be one of the dumbest stories of all time. What they were supposed to be monitoring was no longer being monitored because of their sexual encounter, and things started to go haywire. So as the things go haywire inside of this rig, other people had to be involved on what was going on, and we'll say, quote unquote, they were caught in the act. So it becomes that strange thing of how do we deal with this situation? Normally what has to happen is that if you have something major that occurs, you have to have someone fly in, normally helicopter, to get the people, move them out, and so on. And now with this taking place, how do you handle the situation? Is it quote unquote a safety issue, or is it a personnel issue on how you interact with this? And listen, I don't know. The sex thing's kind of a weird thing to do it on the job site, just in general, but that's a story for a different day. But when you start talking about this, how do you handle the situation? Is this an immediate termination scenario? Or is this one of these things where you go, well, how did this happen? Well, I will tell you, the organization that I was having, we'll say the privilege of interacting with, it was an immediate termination because of what they were not looking at that they were supposed to be looking at. And there was, we'll call it a safety failure, but it wasn't a catastrophic failure, but it was a failure enough to bring enough attraction, not to each other, but enough attraction to what the hell was going on the rig. So as I look at this, is it a safety issue or is it a personnel issue? How do you actually verify that these things don't occur? Is this a 3-person assignment thing, or do you start thinking onto all these weird different levels of things of, well, more can happen with more people? I mean, I never know on how to look at some of these things. Now, here's the strange thing. Have you ever had a job where there has been a sexual encounter, not necessarily with you, but a sexual encounter that has happened at the location while you were working that people found out about and had an impact on safety, or in this case, even operations? Now, that's something to think about. And the oddity here, it's not to talk about the sex story per se, but it's to talk about the things that happen when people think that nothing is actually happening. How strange does it get from time to time in regards of this world? I mean, just think about it for a moment. How would you handle this? Would it be immediate termination? Or do you have a, we'll say, la conversación as you move forward? Now that is definitely something to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hey, Dad. Hello. Your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad. Your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey. Why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow! Awesome! Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Pop quiz hot shot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar. Radio hit.
Turn the lights down, watch you.
You know, it is 43 minutes past the top of the hour. And when I tell you all kinds of music, that's what we're talking about here. This still is the Rated R Safety Show. Hour #1 of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. And this right here is MHC with Lights Down by Veer.
Turn the lights down,
So there you go. You can give it a little streamer action if you'd like. Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music. Yeah, my brain's not even thinking because it was like, boom. Can we do that part again? Because it was so good. I know. People are going to hate me that have headphones on at the moment. It's okay. I get you. But this is the stuff. If you were hanging out with me, this would be the kind of stuff we would listen to together. Some people like it, some people don't. You know, everybody has their own taste. Okay, so I would like to thank MHC for allowing us to play this here on the Radar Safety Show. Okay, I'll get stuck in the loop. I'll tell you. I just know how it goes. So let's get back into it. Let's get back into what we have going on here on this lovely, lovely day. You know, this Whip 'em Out Wednesday. So there you go. Okay, so going back into the move and the groove of the things that are going on inside of our side of the multiverse, let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. And it's not so much just telling you about my friends, but it's exactly about letting you know what information you can find on their website. And that's how to find help across the board. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are and things can get better. Healing is possible. All you have to do is go to their website, twloha.com, twloha.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Seriously, that's all you have to do. All you have to do. To Write Love on Her Arms. You might not need this right now, but you might know someone who needs it, or in the future you might need it. You never know. If you need immediate help, you can actually look at all the guidelines or helplines that are available 24 hours a day on their website, and the list of numbers that they have and contact information is readily available. People that are available 24/7. So twloha.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. No, seriously. Love talking about it because I think it is so important. Well, let's take a listen to this because this is going to be some information to talk about. Let's talk about Frankenface. No, seriously, Frankenface. The secret to eternal youth might be, well, it's death. Someone else's death, that is. Some dermatologists are offering a product that's called Renuva, made from human cadaver tissue instead of synthetic fillers or using a customer's own fat to add volume to their face. Renuva is said to last longer, and it keeps getting better with each treatment. According to the one proponent, yes, it is made of cadaver tissue, but those that are using it don't seem to mind. One said that it seems as equivalent as a medical transplant. Cosmetic dermatologist Dr. Paul Gerard Frank says that Renuva is off-the-shelf injectable like other fillers that does not require surgery. It can also be used to fill dimples and unevenness in the body, so such after surgery. So this is not what Grandma meant on her deathbed when she said, I'll always be part of you. And well, this is the first time I've ever heard of a corpse keeps getting better over time. I mean, that is something to think about. So what do you think about this? Is this something that you would give some consideration to? I have no clue. And I will tell you, the people that I know that have dimples, they don't ever want those things filled. I mean, I guess it would depend seriously on where the dimples are located, but man, I mean, things just continue to get stranger and stranger. But then again, that's just probably just me thinking that things are strange when it comes to that. I mean, what do you think about it? So I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know real quick. Researchers say that they are close to being able to grow decaffeinated coffee beans. A Brazilian Coffee Research Institute has stated that it's decisive stage in a 2-decade project to develop Arabica coffee varieties that naturally are decaffeinated, something that they feel could have significant commercial potential. They believe that there is a market niche among consumers who would prefer caffeine-free beans to current decaffeinated brands that are such as a result of chemical or industrial process. Companies selling the decaffeinated coffee could benefit with reduced costs, since they skip the process to remove the caffeine from the regular coffee beans. So fine, as long as I can add a spoonful of caffeine along with the cream and sugar, because I mean, do people really drink coffee for flavor? I mean, I'm just asking the question. I have no clue. I don't drink coffee. I know, kind of a weird one, but one of those things that we have to talk about. Anyways, take a listen to this. SpaceX is conducting another rocket launch from Vandenberg Space Force. Daniel Martindale has a preview.
A Falcon 9 rocket is scheduled to lift off from northwestern Santa Barbara County at 12:19 Thursday morning. It will likely be visible across the Southern California night sky. It will be taking another group of 47 Starlink internet satellites into low orbit. If the launch is delayed, there will be a second attempt at 11:53 Thursday night. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Well, what kind of a spread is that, man? When you start saying, okay, this is how we're going to spread it out and do the things that we do, that kind of makes you wonder about some stuff. There is no doubt about that as we are talking. Anyways, Arlington County is asking to input for the state's first-ranked choice election. Richard Sterling has more.
Voters were able to pick 2 Democratic nominees for county board yesterday, but final results could take up to a week. A feedback form will be available online until July 5th. Officials are hoping enough people fill it out so they can discuss it during a meeting and decide whether to keep this voting method for November. The offices for State Senate, House of Delegates, Commonwealth Attorney, and Sheriff did not use ranked choice voting. I'm Richard Stelling.
Okay, ranked choice voting. Keep that in mind as we are talking. I'm sure that's going to be something you'll hear about. Anyways, Domino's soon will be able to deliver your pizza without an address. Mark Mayfield's going to explain.
The pizza chain is launching anywhere delivery on its app, which will allow you to order food by dropping a pin. The company said in a release that it'll be great to use during the summer when people head to beaches and parks where providing an exact address can be difficult. Customers will be able to track their order's location and get text alerts about their delivery. I'm Mark Mayfield.
I mean, I don't think I've ever sat at a park where I was like, you know what I want today? I want some Domino's pizza delivered to me in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I don't know. Do you go through that? I mean, I kind of try to plan accordingly in regards of moving forward on what the hell's going on, but that's just my thing. I mean, you go from there. Anyways, take a listen to this. John Fogerty's song Fortune Son has surpassed 1 billion Spotify streams. Why are we talking about this? I don't know. Maybe we're talking about it in the wrong show. Maybe we won't talk about it at all. Maybe we just say, hey, there you go. Now you know that song surpassed that. Whatever that means to you. There you go. Let's just do this. Why don't we do this instead? Why don't we just talk about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute? I think I like that idea better.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Brandon. Dita Von Tess said, "You could be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody who hates peaches." I love this. It's very true, too. Think about it in the terms of music. There are many different kinds of music: country, jazz, hip-hop, rock. If the very best jazz musician in the world was playing in your town, but you love country music, you're probably not too excited about them being there. I've seen that happen. Everybody gets all excited about something. It goes viral online, and I just don't get it. It's because even though it is a big deal, it's just not my thing. And that's okay. We all have our own interests. So do what you like. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. There are several things you can do to optimize your workspace and maximize productivity. And the following 2 things are the easiest adjustments to consider for better alertness. First, it's important to make sure our visual focus is aligned correctly. The way it works, when we look up, we don't just trigger the neurons to execute the movement of looking up, we also trigger them for more alertness and focus. So if you're looking to maintain the maximum amount of focus, it's important to have your screen positioned slightly above the eye level instead of below like most of us do with our laptops. It's also helpful to have as much bright light as safely possible, especially within the first 8 hours after waking up. to maintain activity with dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, and healthy levels of cortisol. For more tips on wellness, check out alessamorgan.com.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, face for radio is for sure. Let's take a closer look at that. Yep, that's what it is. If you weren't on the video, it made absolutely no sense what I just did there. So don't worry about that, because it happens, not sometimes, but all the time, that I make no sense on what I'm doing, because that's just kind of the way that the cookie crumbles. So anyways, with that being said, let's get into some more información, as it is that 55 minute past the hour mark. And let's talk real quick about some of the things that happened back on this day. So if I take a look around, back in 1982, the man who shot Ronald Reagan is ruled not guilty by reason of insanity. John Hinckley was convicted that was convinced, that the actress Jodie Foster spoke to him on her role in the movie Taxi Driver. His defense lawyer successfully argued that the movie's plot was the motivation for him to shoot the president, not his own motives. He was institutionalized instead of headed to prison. On the day that Hinckley shot Reagan, 3 others were also wounded, including Press Secretary James Brady. That happened back in 1982. So there you go. So let's talk real quick about some birthdays that are going on today. Tyler Childers turns 32. Lana Del Rey turns 38 today. Shama Burgess turns 38. Michael Malarkey, yeah, not a joke, turns 40 today. Prince William, 41. Brandon Flowers, 42. And Chris Pratt, yeah, that guy, he turns 44 today, just in case if you were wondering. If you're looking at some days to celebrate, I have some of those for you, and there's some long ones. It's Summer Solstice Day, National Seashell Day, International Yoga Day, Go Skateboarding Day, World Giraffe Day, National Selfie Day, World Music Day. That should be every day. Let's not joke there. World Motorcycle Day, National Peaches and Cream Day, World Humanity Day, and National Daylight Appreciation Day. What if you live in one of those places that's like dark most of the time? Should you appreciate it then too, or not give two shits? I'm just asking the question. Don't shoot the messenger. I never understand. Never understand what to talk about. So there you go. There you go. What do you think? Anyways, let me tell you about this real quick, because I need to mention it, and that's about our little event taking place at the end of September in good old Orlando, Florida. It's the Conklin Conference presented by Safety FM. If you want to come and hang out with Bob Edwards, Jen Long, Mark Yeston, and, well, of course, Todd Conklin and yours truly will be taking place September the 27th through the 29th. In Orlando. All you have to do is to find out more information is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io to find out some more información. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are speaking. Safetyfm.io for more information about what is going on there. So just real quick, if you need a random joke for today, well, I for sure have one of those for you. So it sounds like this. It's a sure sign of summer if the chairs get up when you do. That one's not good in your area. Try this one. My friends could not afford their water bill, so I sent them a Get Well card. You get it? Okay, I hope you do. What else? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's your summertime bucket list? And if that one doesn't work because of where you're at, try this one. What's your favorite line from a movie? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Among couples who take road trips this summer, almost 30% will argue about this. What is it? How to load the car. No, seriously, that's a point of contention. How to load the car. That's a thing. So anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Sheldon Primus will be taking over in Safety FM if you hang out with him, doing the, the work of safety consulting. He'll talk about that for the next hour or so if you want to hang out there. If you want to go with me over to radiobig.fm, you're more than welcome on doing that. We'll do the world of music and entertainment, continuing hour number 2 and hour number 3 of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. Would love to see you over there if you're so enticed to do so. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Keep your face to the sunshine, and you will never see a shadow. Think about that. It'll take you to places that you've never been before. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM. And that is the listener. Yes, and of course of Radio Big as well. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Turn the lights down, watch them go down. No, I'm never gonna slow down. Turn the lights down, watch them go down. No, I'm never gonna slow down. Turn the lights down, watch them go down.